Good morning students. Once again welcome back to C++ class. In today's class I will explain you about abstract classes and strings. Okay, abstract classes. Okay, so abstract class is similar to normal class only. Like just have created a class A and we write the class body and we give the semicolon. So when you give the semicolon, then what happens? Class definition will end there. So abstract classes are similar to the normal classes only. Then what is the difference? So what is the difference between a normal class and the abstract classes? Abstract classes contains virtual functions like a virtual, int, sum. Example. Okay, abstract classes contains virtual functions. Okay, already I have explained virtual functions. What are the virtual functions, right? Right. So here abstract class means what? The class which contains virtual functions. Okay. So if a class contains virtual function means what? That class can use the properties of the child class also. In the last class I have explained. Right. Now here come to the abstract classes. Abstract classes should contain at least one pure virtual functions. When abstract class contains a pure virtual functions, then that functions can be inherited by its child. Example like this: class B colon public A. Example: this is a here A is a base class, B is a child class. Okay, so this is the inheritance. When the inheritance is done, when one class is taking a property from another class, the class which is taking a property is called as a child class. The class who is giving the property is called as a parent class. This concept already I have explained. Then what is the abstract class? In the abstract class, we will create one virtual function. And if the abstract class is inherited by the any child class, whatever method virtual function is there in the parent class, no, that function definition is given by the child class. Okay. Abstract classes, first point, it contains a virtual function. First point. Next, if the abstract class is inherited by the child class, it is a condition that the childish class should give the body or definition of the virtual function. Here in the abstract class, just we will give the name of the function and we declare as a virtual. Right? But where is the body of this function? The classes which are inheriting this method, this class, they should give the body. Right? It will create only the interfaces. But whatever definition is there, no, that definition is given by the child classes. Okay. Example, I have created one virtual function sum, which is the two parameters. Int A, int B. Example. Then here, for this int A and int B, one class can do C equals to A plus B, another class can do C equals to A minus B, another class can do C equals to A into B. Here, how many parameters you have? Two parameters only. With that two parameters, one class is doing addition, another class is doing a subtraction, another class is doing a multiplication. But how many parameters are there? Two parameters. What is the name of the function? Sum. Function name is same. Function parameters are same. But different classes are using that method in different ways. Such classes, such functions are nothing but a virtual function, and that virtual function is given by the parent class only. The class which are inheriting the parent class, that classes should provide body of the function. But the parent class will not provide body of the function. And why we are using abstract classes? When the parent class want their child to use, compulsorily they should give body of that function. Then that classes can be declared as a virtual function in the abstract class. Okay. When the parent want its child to use that methods, then what parent will do? The parent will declare that method as a that method as a virtual, and that should be inside the abstract class. Okay, only the thing is abstract class means the class which contains the virtual functions. If any class is declared as any function is declared as a virtual in the abstract class, that function body should be provided by the child class only, and it is a condition that whatever class is inheriting that class, all those classes should provide body to that function. Okay, understood? So the child classes must provide the body to the virtual functions which are declared inside the abstract class. Means the mandated methods for child classes should be declared as virtual inside the abstract class. Now I will give you the example from here. So here I will write one program. From here I will start. Hash include IOString using namespace std class A. Inside the class A, inside the public access modifier, I am giving one method that is a first I will declare that as a virtual. Okay, public virtual void insert. Okay, void insert. So here what is the function? It is a virtual function, and I will initialize it as a 0. Next to virtual void show. Here I am not giving a body to the function. Who will give the body to the function? The child classes will give the body to the function. Or now we will come to the child class. Child class B colon public A, parent class A. Now public colon, what is the function in here? Insert. What type of function it is? Virtual function. Then void insert. Okay, so here it is a insert. Now what you want to take from a user also you should give them actually. So inside the public here I have not given variables, right? Int id, int age id. So here insert function, cout, enter id, save id, cout, enter age, cin age, over values we are accepting from a user. Now the next one is void show. Here I am displaying. I think it is not visible now. Here I am writing. So only the thing is here I have given the name of the function. But function body where I am giving? Here I am giving the function. So whatever child classes, here A is a child class, B is a child class of A. So whatever classes inheriting class A, all those classes should provide definition to the function. This definition. This function body should be provided by the child classes only. Okay. So one function body I have given. For the second function also I will give. Continuation it is. Second function is void show. Here cout id, cout age. Two functions over, and this class is also child class is also over. The next one is we'll create an object. Int main. This is a virtual function as already said, no? That should be declared as a string. Directly you can access also here. Main function. In the main function I am creating object for a b dot ob is an object of b. Okay, I am not calling, here the base class is not using the child classes. Directly we are using the methods from a child class. So b dot ob, then ob dot, what is the method name? Insert OB dot show. That's it. Only the thing you need to remember is, if it is an abstract class, it contains only the method names only. It won't provide the body of the method. Who will provide the body of the method? The child classes will provide the body of the method. But which child class will provide the body of the method? The child classes which are inheriting the base class. Only that will provide the definition to that function which declared as a virtual in a abstract classes. Okay. So here only the thing is, if any class is declared as an abstract class, no, that class will not provide a body to its functions. Okay. Who will provide the body to its function? The classes which are inheriting that parent class, that classes will provide the body to the function, and they can give a different definitions. Only the abstract class will give the name of the method, but body it is not providing, and what are the conditions of the body also it is not providing. So what happened, the child classes can use the same name, but whatever body is given, that they can give a different bodies they can give. So that is the use of abstract classes. Okay. Now after this I will discuss about the streams now. Okay students, our next topic is streams in C++. Okay, actually what is a stream? Stream is a sequence of bytes, and how the streams are related to C++ program is, when you perform any operation, means like when you taking any input from a user, and when you are displaying something on the output screen, that is nothing but the collection of bytes, collection of characters you are displaying on the output screen. That is nothing but the streams in C++. If you are collecting anything from a user, that is also stream of characters, and if you are displaying anything on the output screen also, that is a stream of characters. Okay. Now this streams can be a input stream and it can be output stream. Input stream means if you are collecting something from a user, then that is called as an input stream. And if you are displaying anything on the output, then that is also that will come under output screen. Okay, here I have given one picture. You can see C++ program input screen. Input screen means here whatever information the user is entering, that is entering through the keyboard and all. So that whatever information you are collecting from a keyboard and all, that is nothing but the input stream. And whatever you are displaying on the output screen on the console, that is called as the output stream. Okay, so these are the streams in C++. Or we can say that stream is a collection of characters. Streams are nothing but a collection of characters, or we can say that is a collection of bytes. Okay, now here you can see streams. IOS, actually in the very first line of a C++ program we used to include IO stream, right? So here IOS, here IO means input screen and it is a output screen, and yes, stream buffer, three things. IOS stream means one is a I for IO stream, I stream input screen, O for a output screen, and S for a stream buffer. Okay, together these three streams we are calling it as a IO stream, right? IO stream, input, IO stream, and stream buffer, right? Here I have given some information about this. Here we have different classes. Okay, stream classes. First one is the IOS. Here IOS, this class is the base class for all the stream classes. Okay, means whatever remaining classes are there, no, for all these classes, this IOS is a base class, and this stream contains different classes which contains different input and output stream. Okay, and this class defines different members that are independent, means this contains different streams as already explained, no? So each and every stream can be an independent. Okay, and next the one is iStream. iStream is also stream class which is used to handle input functions. The next one is the OStream. It is a output stream class which is used to handle output operations, means whatever output you are displaying from a program that is printed on the console, no, that is handled by the OStream class. Outstream, here for outstream we are using a cout object. Here you can see if you want to print something on the screen and the console, what operation we use? Cout. Okay, cout. this output is printed on the screen. This is a collection of bytes. Now this is nothing but a stream only. So using a cout object, you are displaying a collection of bytes on the output screen. So this is nothing but the out screen, out stream it is. Next, if you want to display anything on the output screen on the console, we can use a put function also. Put this output is printed, means here also we are printing a sequence of byte, means we are printing a stream on the console. Now in stream means whatever objects, whatever functions you are using to take to collect the input from a user, that is called as input stream. Now here cin object is used to take or any information from a user. Next, cin is a one object, and one gets function is also one object which is used to collect information from a user at runtime. Okay, so using this actually we used to collect characters. IO stream, just I said, no, it is a stream which is used to handle both input and output stream, or we can say that it is a collection of input stream and output stream, right? This is about a streams. Streams are nothing but it is a collection of characters, collection of bytes. Okay, if you are taking collection of characters from a user, that is the input stream, and if you are printing a collection of characters on the output screen, that are nothing but the out screen. Now the next topic is unformatted standard input and output. Okay, so when you are performing, when you are taking any input from a user, when any character from a user, okay, what functions will use? Okay, unformatted. The functions which are not formatted, that are nothing but the unformatted. Here in C++ we have some unformatted functions which are used to collect some data and which are used to print some data on the output screen, right? So get function, so the get function means which is used to collect input from a user, but using a get function at a time you can collect only one character. Okay, next put method, it is also method of a cout object. It is used to print a characters on the screen. Get method is used to collect a character from a user, and put method is used to print character on the screen. So this example I have given, press any key. If you are pressing any key on the keyboard, so that is considered as a character, and that we are putting on the output screen. The next one is a get line. Okay, it is also a method of a cin object, but it is used to take input which is a multiple spaces, means the user can give text as well as he can supply multiple spaces at the same time. Next, write method. It is a method of a cout object. Okay, and it is used to write n number of characters on the output screen, like this. So whatever just now functions I have explained, no, that is unformatted input and output operations. Here we have a unformatted file operations, means the operations which can be performed to open a file, to close a file. So that will come under a input and file unformatted file operations. Okay, so here you can see it is a class. Okay, it is used to handle output file stream, and it is used for writing a data to the files. Okay, so it is used to, means what is the use of this class? This class is used to handle the output file stream. Okay, if you are copying any data to the file, output data to any other file, so that is nothing but the OF stream. Okay, that is possible by using the OF stream, right? This class which handles the output file stream. Right? Next, IF stream. This is the input file stream, and it is used for a reading data from a file. Down. Okay, this is the IF stream. This is one more class which is used to handle input file stream. Means when you are opening any file and you are reading content from a file, that is possible by using the IF stream. Next, F stream. This file is used to handle both IF stream and OF stream. Okay. So if you want to open a file, in a C++. How will you open? Already these functions we discussed in a C programming. Open method is used to open a file. Just you need to give a file name and mode of the file, means whether you want to open a file in a writing mode, reading mode and all. Okay, file name is the name of the file. Next mode, these are optional. Okay, in which mode you want to open? You want to open a file for a reading, this is the IN. If you want to write data to the file, that is a writing mode. Okay, next position of the file means at the end or at the starting. The next is a truncate. Okay, if you want to truncate the characters in the file which have already created. Okay, next if you want to open a file in append mode, append mode means if you want to add any content at the end of the file, that is append mode. And if you want to open a binary file. Okay, these are all the modes. According to your requirement, you can add any mode here. Example here, what I have opened, myfile.open means I am opening a myfile.dat. Okay, it's a file which I am opening. Next iOS, this iOS here, iOS I am opening a file in a binary format. You can see here, iOS out or iOS app or iOS binary, means iOS means it's append and iOS means it's opening a file in a binary format, and you want to display anything like this. So these are all the modes which you need to add when you are opening any file, because you need to inform the compiler what operations you want to perform on a file. Now here few streams are given: class, IF stream for input, OF stream for output, and EF stream for input and output. So after opening a file, if you want to close a file, then same use void close, void close. So close, you no need to give any file name. Why? Because whatever file is opened currently, only that file will be closed. So here already I have opened my file. No, now that file I am closing, my file dot close. So already my file is opened, that file will be closed. Next, just know what I have explained, that is unformatted. Now the next one is the formatted. You take it. Next, formatted input and output operations. Like unformatted in C++, we have a few formatted input and output operations. First one is a setW. Okay, setW method is used to set width of the output. Example, you are expecting whatever input the user is going to give, that may be 10 to 20 characters. Then you are giving a width as a 20 characters. And when you are giving that width, if you want to display that width like in a special symbol like asterisk and underscore like that, then that you can fill by using a set fill characters. Okay, you can give the width for output stream. At the same time, whatever stream space is there that you want to fill with any special characters, that also you can use. Print. See here, width I am giving for 10 characters width I am giving, and before the user is entering on the console, that 10 characters width will be displayed as asterisk. Okay, so this is about unformatted input and output files in a C++. Okay, so here first I have explained the streams. Next, unformatted and formatted. Streams are nothing but the collection of characters, sequence of byte. That sequence of byte you can collect from a user or you can print on the output screen. If you are collecting that sequence of characters from a user, that is the input stream. If you are printing same on the output screen, then that is called as a output stream. IO stream means it is a both input and output. Next, here we have a different types of methods. Okay, under this unformatted standard input and output, when you are collecting something from a user and when you are printing on the output screen, here we have a few methods. Okay, that few methods are categorized into unformatted and formatted. Unformatted, we have a get and put. Get is used to get one character at a time from a user, get method, and put method is used to print characters at a time on the output screen. Get line, it allows the user to take a characters and it allows the user to give us spaces also. and write method is used to write something on the output screen. Same unformatted, we have a file operations that is possible by using OF stream, I stream, F stream. OF stream for output file stream. Okay, if you want to write something, and this next I for reading something. Okay, if you want to read something from a file, then we'll use IF stream, and this F stream contains both input and output. Okay, and here we can open a file in C++ by using the open method. Just you need to give the open, what is the file name which you want to open, and what is the mode, whether you want to open file in a writing mode, reading mode, or append mode. That different modes you have to give. Okay. Next format, closing file, just to give the name of the file and close the file. The next formatted input output operations. Here we have two methods, setW, setFill. So when you want to give the width of the stream you are collecting from a user, that is a setW. How much width you want to give, in bracket you should give the width. Next, when you are giving a width before the user enters any information, if you want to fill that width with any special characters, then we'll use a setFill, which fills the given width with any special characters. Okay, so this is about streams, input and output, formatted and unformatted input and output file operations. Okay, thank you.